Yeah,
We're
it says we're live at the top.
yeah, we're just connecting. So we are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We're coming up on Instagram.
How
It's
scary.
I know.
Sorry, Instagram. We're here.
I don't yet know what it looks like on Instagram actually, because that's
Oh, wow. Okay.
um. But
Instagram have changed their layout. Well, I know they changed it a while ago, and
I
everything
know.
I've done looks really
I
like I don't
know.
know what I'm doing.
I completely agree because everything I kind of did before, and for years I've been making nice squares and they all sit nicely
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, same here. And I'm
And
I'm all about, I can help you be visible. I can help you get it right. And I'm like, all my stuff looks crap
yeah, yeah.
because they've changed it.
But why do they have to change it? Why
Because
do they
they're
have to?
bloody nuisances, that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So lovely. It looks like we are live everywhere. Yep, done that. Yep, we're all there. So I am here today with Nicola Toner.
Hello.
So I'll just do a little bit of an intro,
Oh
Nicola,
gosh.
before we get talking all about you.
Okay.
So every now and then I like to go live on wherever we're live now: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram,
Everywhere.
with a member of the Creativity Found Collective so that people can find out what it is they do and how they can help you either find a new creative outlet
Mhm.
or sustain and grow your own creative small business. And Nicola is on the helping you in your small
Yeah.
business side
Yeah.
of things. So from a background point of view, the Creativity Found Collective, it's a promotional and a networking membership. It's for artists and crafters who teach their creative skills with grown-ups through workshops, online courses, products, subscriptions, and also a membership for business support enterprises who use their expertise to help those artists and crafters and other small businesses, of course, to
Yeah.
grow their businesses. We promote their offerings on the website. We connect them with a network of like-minded people. We do things like this. It's promoted through the Creativity Found podcast every fortnight. And we get to kind of hang out and talk to each other, which is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So anyone out there now who hasn't met us before, if you think you'd like to join us, simply visit creativityfound.co.uk/slash join us.
Yeah.
So, Nicola, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm very well, thank you. Start by telling us then how you can help other small business owners to thrive and grow.
Okay, so I am all about marketing, that horrible word that people think it's just everything, it's a lot of plates spinning. I do a lot of different little things that can help people. I run an agency called the Smash Agency where I completely can take your marketing away from you and I'll do it all for you. But on a lower sort of level, if you're just dabbling, you're not really sure what you're doing with your product yet, and you don't want to go to that whole expense of having somebody come in and do all your marketing for you, I offer all sorts of little solutions. I offer some free solutions, like I have a marketing masterclass called Market Easy, which is the next one is on the 29th of May at 4 p.m. That's a Tuesday, I think. I also have a membership which people can join, and there's all sorts of useful videos, downloads, ideas, prompts, all sorts of things that can help people to understand how to market their business. It's not just about social media, it's not just about posting on social media. There's a lot of other stuff that goes through a marketing plan. And if you haven't got a marketing plan, then I could help you write one of those as well. But it's not that scary. It's kind of easy. It ends up being a tick list. Have I done this today? Have I done that today? Have I done that this week? Or have I done that this month? It can be whatever you want it to be, as much or as little. So, yeah, that's pretty much it
Yeah.
for what I can do.
Yeah. No, it sounds absolutely perfect. I think one of the things for any small business owner is, you might start it by saying, oh, I'm going to teach people how to crochet,
Yeah.
but then there's all this other stuff around it. Okay, how are people going to know that I'm teaching
Yeah.
them how to crochet?
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, having spoken with lots of members, that that can be quite a difficult process to get
It
your
is.
head around
It is.
on
A
that
lot of
level.
people go and they set up a website and they think, okay, my website's there. Sometimes they'll spend quite a lot of money on that website as well. And actually, the website's no good just sitting there. You've got to, what I say, drive people to the website. So it's all about creating traffic that goes to your website, that finds out all about what you do. And the place to find those people, to drive them to your website, is generally social media. So you need some sort of connector in between what you do and your website, and that is very often with creative people is generally Instagram and Pinterest as well can be quite good at driving people to your website. But Instagram would be my first port of call, especially if you're creating something that's very visual. So people, you can literally be faceless. You can just talk about what you do and show what you do without actually having to really show up yourself. You do need to a little tiny bit, but you don't have to be. It's not all about you singing and dancing. I think TikTok is actually quite good as well for those kind of things. Again, not all about singing and dancing. It's about what you do. So yeah, people tend to think I need a website, and I suppose my response to that would be no. Let's start smaller. Set up a Facebook page. It's free. A business page, as long as it's linked to your profile. You can have a business page. You can call it your business name, or set up a Facebook group, like a community that you control, that people who are interested in what you do actually go and join. So from there, you can drive them to your website, but you don't necessarily need to have the website all up and running straight away. So that's my advice, I suppose.
Yeah, brilliant. So you can really kind of hold people's hands.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, I spend my life holding people's hands. I'm not trying to. So my whole thing at the moment is about the fact that people are being. There's lots of words being bandied around that funnels and passive income, and these things have been around for a while. They've been around a long time, some of them, but they're now being held up as this is how you should be doing it. And actually, I don't really believe that that is the case. Yes, there's room for it, but passive income is very hard work. It's not you switch it on and sit back. You have to maintain that passive income. And a lot of that kind of drilling down into having a funnel is about personal visibility. And some people, especially creatives, I find, are not really that comfortable. They love what they do. They're passionate about what they do. They like to show you what they've done, but they don't necessarily want to be front and center. So actually finding a way to talk about what they do without having to really be visible. It's called now faceless marketing, which is just, again, another buzzword. It's been around a long, faceless marketing. Do you know what the owner of Marks and Spencer's looks like? No, neither do I. That's faceless marketing. We still buy from Marks and Spencer's and have done for years. So it's not a new thing. It's the phrase is new. It's been coined as new. But I think a lot of creatives, if they don't want to be front and center, then actually there's a lot of things that they can do without actually doing that to get the message out there about what they do.
Yeah, I think another point of perhaps confusion or befuddlement or muddlement is that creative small businesses will likely be doing lots of things. So they might have products for sale, and they might have kits that they want to sell, but they might be going to fairs, but they might also be holding workshops. And do those get all mixed up? Should they be under one umbrella? That kind of guidance, I think, from a marketing point of view, is useful.
Yeah, I think if you look at it as having different types of product range within your range. So again, going back to Marks and Spencer's, they sell shoes, they sell underwear, they sell clothes, they sell food. You will very rarely see a Marks and Spencer food advert that talks about Marks and Spencer's knickers. Okay, so no, they can all be under the same brand. So they can all be, I don't know, the Smash Agency, but under that, the things that are different are talked about at different times. And they might even be talked about to different audiences. So, for instance, I love artwork. Although you wouldn't know it from looking behind me, this is only a background. I've got a blank wall behind me, but I've got lots of framed art. I've got posters, movie posters, places I've been, photographs I've taken. I love those kind of things. Can I draw? No. Could it be my art? No. So I am not the kind of person who's going to buy a kit that says, "Oh, I'm going to create this and then I'm going to put it on my wall," because it would give me so much frustration and anxiety. I'd never do it. However, if you show me something that I think is beautiful, I'll probably buy it and put it on my wall. So therefore, there's two different audiences. There's the person who just wants it ready-made to put on the wall, and there's the person who wants to create it themselves. So it's no good talking to one about the other thing or vice versa. So again, when you're talking about a kit, talk to the people who you know are going to want to make that kit. Don't talk to people like me, talk to the people who are really interested in that. And again, vice versa, when you're talking about the art that's just, for sale, it's a retail product, people buy it, they can maybe, I don't know, personalize it, put a different frame on it or whatever, but it can go on the wall in their house without them having to lift up a paintbrush, a pen, or anything that terrifies them. So it's about understanding who that ideal client is, or who that ideal consumer is. Consumers are people who, they may not have bought from you, but they watch what you're doing. They look at your product ranges. They look at the things that you're putting out on social media, or they visit your website. Once they buy something, they become a customer or a client. If it's a bespoke thing that they buy, they would be your client. If they're a retail consumer, then they would then become a customer. So they're one of your customers that buys. So I don't know whether you know that distinction. A lot of people don't know that there's a distinction in all those things. It's always a revelation. I don't know why. We all know the words, but we don't know why they're different. There's actually a blog. I think I did a blog about this last year, about the difference between a client, a consumer, and a customer. But again, it's about not thinking that everybody can buy as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard my analogy before about toilet roll, Claire. We all use toilet roll. Everybody uses toilet roll. And Mr. Toilet Roll Manufacturer would be quite right in sitting and saying, everybody can buy my product. However, depending on the type of toilet roll you buy, do you buy quilted, pink, scented, all of those different types? If you buy pink and quilted and he only makes white and 2-ply, then you're never going to buy his product, are you? So yes, we can all buy it, but will we? Are the people you're talking to actually the right people that will buy your product, not just vaguely, yes, they can? And a lot of the time I throw that question out and the room will generally be divided. People will think, oh, that's interesting. And then there'll always be one or two that sort of sit back and think, anyone can buy my product. And my toilet roll analogy proves that that's not quite the case. I love proving that point.
Brilliant. Tell me two things. Tell me a little bit about the masterclass that you've got coming up in May, and then tell me how somebody might work with you as an example. So say I'm a one-man band and I sell embroidery kits. How might we work together, for example?
Okay, so first of all, the masterclass is part of my brand new kind of Market Easy brand, if you like, or sub-brand under my Smash agency. Smash agency is something, I worked in corporate, my background is marketing, I've got a marketing degree, and I've worked for some really big companies over the years. In 2009, I left corporate. I was working for the Sara Lee Corporation in their marketing department. I left and I came to work for myself. I went out to Dubai and ran a marketing campaign out there for a company. And then since then, I've kind of done one contract job after another. I don't live in the UK. Not many people know that I don't live in the UK. I don't know whether most people do know that, actually. I live in Spain. And when I left the UK in 2016, it was at the point where if you were going to have a meeting with somebody, you had to go and get in your car and go and sit in front of them at their desk and have a conversation. And then, obviously, I wasn't going to do that every 5 minutes, nipping home back to the UK from Spain. So I closed my agency and I basically did some contracting work and I did some other things that were more online based or project management, where I would go for a few months and work somewhere. I worked in Malta for a little while on the International Capital of Culture in 2018, which was fantastic. It was a year-long event and I was involved in all the different types of events that they held throughout the year. It was great. COVID happened, and all of a sudden everybody said, oh, we can talk online. We don't need to meet up. So that was great. And about 18 months ago, I decided to reopen the agency. I'd spent a lot of time through COVID and beyond helping people to market themselves. And it just became a little bit frustrating because I'm a very much hands-on kind of person. And when I can see someone struggling, I don't want to labor the point with them. I just say to them, get out of the way, let me do it for you. So, which is me all over, really. And I'm my own worst enemy, because then what I was doing was I was not charging enough for that service, but I was so involved in it and invested in it that I wanted it to work. So it wasn't a really great use of my time. So I decided that I was going to backpedal a little bit of the consultancy work where I'm helping people to learn how to do it, because not everybody wants to know how to do it. I went to university to study marketing because I loved it. I went as a mature student, I'd worked for companies where I'd been involved in the marketing department. And to me, going to university just felt like crossing the T's and dotting the I's. It was common sense for me. But not everybody's interested. It doesn't light everybody's fire the way it does me. So, and I get that, it wouldn't be no good if we were all the same. No. So now I have a series of things that I can help people do, and they all have lower or smaller price points. I do the whole get out the way, log me in, I'm here and I'll do it for you. You don't have to think about it again. I'm just going to run it. But I also do other things. So I could help people create a lead magnet. I could help them put a mailing list together. I could help them promote it. These are all sort of drop-in module type things that I can do at a much lower cost. So if it was for something that, I don't know, if people wanted to hold a masterclass and they wanted to set up something that got people interested, or they wanted to find some sort of way of selling a kit, maybe we could look at a lead magnet that we could put out that would talk about the kit, and then the end product would be sold at some part, creating a funnel and those kind of things. So there's lots of ways you can work with me. I also have a membership, which is I think it's 19, I nearly said 19 euros then, sorry, £19 a month. I wasn't stumbling over the price, I was stumbling over the currency. £19 a month, and you get access to my videos, recordings, tips, tricks. You get a masterclass from me once a month, as well as my Market Easy stuff. So there's lots of ways that I can help. If you don't want me to just drop in and do it all for you, there's lots of other little bits. It's all on my website. I can drop the links.
What are you going to be teaching people at the end of May? What are you going to be covering in that session?
So the thing that I have really sort of learned over the last couple of years is that even when I'm doing some of the work for them, they still have to do a little bit. There's still bits of things you need to do yourself, because you need to show up. It's your business and you should want to do some of it yourself. You need to keep a little bit of control. But people seem to get so bogged down in how to actually do things consistently. And what I found is if I give someone a checklist, have you posted on Facebook today? You're selling a kit. I'll write the posts for you. All you need to do is go in and post it as yourself on your personal profile, or on your Facebook page, or on Instagram, or wherever you need to do it. So it's really about how to understand that consistency without having all the automation, and the people get so overwhelmed by the automation. I've got to set up a funnel, a lead magnet. It's hard work if you don't know what you're doing. It can be quite confusing. And a lot of the time people think, right, I'm going to do it. They start and then they think, I don't know what I'm doing, and they forget it. They just leave it. So they never really get any further forward. So what I've come up with for people who I end up working with who are sort of in that boat, I give them a checklist. These are the things that I will do, this, and this, if you will do X, Y, and Z every day, or once a week, or even if it could be something like once a month. For instance, just tracking your growth. A lot of people don't track growth. So, you start off on the 1st of May with 1,000 followers. What do you end up with on the 31st of May? Has it gone up? Has it gone down? It's not necessarily a bad thing if it's gone down. It just means that the people who aren't really aligned with you have decided they don't want to follow you anymore. So it means that the people who are following you maybe are more likely to be your kind of customer. So, down is not a negative in any way. Even things like following up. So we all get messages. I get them all the time, on Facebook, on Instagram. I always forget to check Instagram. There are, so I put a tab in my calendar, and everybody in my membership as well gets a reminder on the 1st of the month and the 15th of the month to go back over the last 2 weeks worth of messages, emails, inquiries, proposals you may have sent out, prices you might have been asked for, and just go back and say, hey, do you want this?
Yes.
Are you thinking about this? If
Yeah.
you're not, then fine. You can cross them off. But
Yeah.
if they are thinking about it, you could progress that conversation.
Yeah.
So it's all about basically finding the easy things, the easy wins, and the way to promote yourself, promote your business without actually having to be a marketeer, without having to, understand the ins and outs of
Yeah.
opening rates and all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
So that's what the 29th will be all about. It's my Market Easy, play on Make It Easy. And it's basically just to give people more of a checklist process rather than this whole great mystery of you've got to do everything all the time.
Breaking it down.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me years ago about that, checking back. And I
Yeah.
did it and it worked.
It does work. It does work. It's surprising that people. And I saw a post the other day on Facebook about somebody who had sent a proposal to somebody and then had not heard anything and had sent 3 or 4 emails, and the person, I think, had just ghosted them in the end. They
Yeah.
obviously didn't want the product, or they weren't being asked the right questions, is kind of what I think. If someone's gone to the trouble of having a conversation with you and you've sent them a proposal, there was some interest. There's got to have been. But at the same time, you also need to be asking them the right question. And sometimes that question is, do you want this? People, we skirt around it. So if you'd like to have another call, let's pop on to Zoom, or so let me know what you think. No, I don't want to know what you think. I want to know whether you want it or you don't want it. A yes or no. Nobody likes a maybe, baby. It's like yes or no. Let's do that. So, and if you follow up but ask the right question, then actually it helps everybody. Because if you ask the question, I'm not going to message you again, but I just want to know, do you want this or do you not want it? And if someone says, no, I don't want it, go, okay, fine, have a nice life. I'll speak to you again at some point in the future. And if they do, then you move it forward. So not only following up, but actually asking the right question as well. And it works. It does work. Some people, they're just waiting for you to ask them that question. Some people just get a bit, I don't know, you don't know what life's throwing at them. They might have looked at your message, thought, I'll answer that later, and then never gone back to it. They got distracted on the way to the buy button. You don't know. So, yeah, it's always good to follow up, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. And you are a member of the Creativity Found Collective, as I've mentioned.
I'm not as active as I should be, but then life just gets in the way.
Exactly. But despite that, why do you think it's important for you as your own business to be in a community like that and perhaps connected to other people? I'm not sure. What do you think is important about joining communities?
Well, I think joining communities, it helps you to raise your own profile, which is something that I've always been quite good at. Even when I worked in corporate, if I did something good, I shouted about it. And I was lucky enough to be in companies that facilitated that. So, for instance, when I worked with Sarah Lee, we were an international company. There was an international magazine, and every month there would be a story from each of the opcos, operating companies, as we would call them around the world. Not said that for a while. Just don't know where that came from then, in the back of my mind somewhere. And, if I won a contract or I did something, I don't know, if I did something really cool, I would send it off. Every month I would send my entry. 9 times out of 10, I didn't get a mention, but on the odd occasion, I got more mentions than the rest of the team because they didn't send anything in. So, and I remember going to an international meeting with lots of different people. And one of my colleagues said to me, how come everybody knows who you are? And I said, because I'm always in the magazine, that's why. So it pays off. So being in a community, it raises your profile. With Creativity Found, it was a commercial decision for me because I deal and I help and I work with a a hell of a lot of creatives in lots of capacities. Marketing, yes. I also have a big interest in crowdfunding, and creatives are very good at having things that can be crowdfunded. They just don't know how to do it. Crowdfunding is just a timed marketing campaign, really.
Mm.
Shh, don't tell anyone. Um, so the two go hand in hand, and also I find that some of the greatest comments I've had about any kind of planning strategy or understanding, your milestones and your goals have come from creatives. The best one being, "Oh, I'm a creative. I don't need a business plan," which just made me go, horror, horror. Or no, I don't. And they think it's great. I don't need a business plan. I'm creative, and I always think, well, actually, you probably need it more than most.
Yeah.
So, so the people that I would like to work with are probably in your group.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have that kind of reaction
Yeah,
as
I
well.
know you do. But some people can fudge it and hide it, and then they look like they've got a great
I know.
plan. But then
I
when
know.
you ask them, they go,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing next."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Nicola.
You're welcome.
Tell us well, I've got a link in the description for this
Okay.
video, but tell us the best ways that people can connect with you.
Oh gosh, any of the platforms. Although don't go to TikTok because I'm not there very often, and I forget I have a TikTok account. Facebook is usually best. My profile is open if you want to come and just drop me a friend request and send me a message. If you don't want to be my friends, I'm not offended if you then remove the request, but as long as we connect via Messenger. My email is very simple. It's me@nicolatoner.com. Don't get much more simple than that. It's my name with me at the front of it. My website is nicolatoner.com or thesmashagency.com as well. So either of those. And if anybody wants to come to the webinar, how do I get a link to that? Is that what you've put into
That's
the
what I've
comment?
put in the
Okay,
description
cool.
here, and I'll make sure
Okay,
I
so yeah, I'd love to see as many of you at the
Yeah.
webinar. Webinar. It's not a webinar. It's a masterclass.
It's a
Actually, I
masterclass.
keep calling it a masterclass. It's not even really that. A masterclass is usually followed up by some cheesy upsell where I try and sell you something.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
You're
that.
not gonna do
All I
that.
want to do is help you get a foothold on that marketing plan that you all really need, without it feeling like you're committing to the rest of your life of
Well,
drudgery.
there's an interesting take on it, Nicola, not leading to the upsell at the end.
It's not,
Wow.
no. I hate that. It makes me cringe. It makes me
Yeah.
cringe, especially when most people really don't like to sell. Most people
Mm,
really don't. They don't think they can sell, so that's a
mm.
barrier in itself. And then you can see them building up when they're giving this masterclass. You can see them building up to this. So why don't you buy it? You
Yeah.
kind of hit with it, and nobody buys it because nobody wants to buy it because they saw it coming a mile away. So no,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. If you want to work with me, message me and we'll work something out. We can talk about it. But yeah, I'm more about raising my profile, imparting the information, because then at some point in the future, when you do want something to work and
Mm.
you think, I can't work this out, I need somebody to help me, who are you going to think of? That's me.
Well, we're gonna think of you, and we're also gonna know you as well. We're gonna know
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
personality, and like
Absolutely.
we were saying
Can help
earlier, if
you.
somebody doesn't want you, they won't get in
Yeah,
touch, and that's fine because you probably wouldn't
absolutely.
want them either. So
No. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know that. But hey, the people that do work with me love me, so that's all that matters.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much,
You're
Nicola. I'm
welcome. Thanks
just
for
gonna
having
say
me.
you're very welcome. Stay on when I turn the thingy
I
off.
will.
I just want to mention that I have live streamed this using Riverside, which is the platform I use to record every episode of the Creativity Found podcast. There is a link in that link to that in the description as well. And yeah, otherwise that's it for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.